All right, question number 16. We want to match the graph of the function with the graph of its derivative. And so you need to be somewhat familiar with the graphs of the trig functions, at least the general shape. And so I'm going to go back to our course, and in our video section we have the parent functions and then the hero parent functions. This is a sheet that goes over all of the different graphs. So I'm going to open up this, and we're going to verify which trig function we're looking at, and then we're going to find the derivative. So first you have all the algebraic and some of the transcendental functions, and then you get to the trig functions. So we got sine, cosine, we have tangent, which looks like it's going up and to the right, and then we have cotangent. So the one that we were looking at looks more like this. Okay, go back and refer. This looks like cotangent. So based on the graph, we're considering this function to be cotangent, and then we're going to find the derivative of cotangent. So also in our handouts we do have trig, the derivative sheet. Okay, so if you look at the derivatives, whenever we go, some of the trig functions are already given. So when you want to find the derivative of cotangent, we get a negative 1 over sine squared. 1 over sine is the same as cosecant. So let's start putting some of this together. So we are given y equals cotangent of x. This is the function that we saw graphed. Well, when we look at the derivative, this is equal to a negative 1 over sine squared of x. Okay, 1 over sine is the same thing as cosecant. So this is the same as saying negative CSC squared x. Okay, we'll graph this with the graphing utility, but I'll just kind of give you a simple idea of what we're looking at. So if we were to graph a basic sine, because 1 over sine is cosecant, so I'm going to start with sine. Sine positive 1, negative 1. I have 4 tick markers going up to 2 pi. I'm going to graph one period. Start at 0, goes up, down, down to negative 1, and back here. So it kind of cycles through like so. Okay. Whenever you graph cosecant, okay, it's 1 over cosine. So whenever sine is 0, we have asymptotes. Okay, we're going to have vertical asymptotes here and here. So what I'm doing is I'm graphing the mirror image of it. This is what it looks like if you're just going to do a rough sketch. This dotted line would be CSC of x. So this would just be the general form. However, we are looking for the negative of it. So if I think of starting with a negative cosine, it would go down first. It just flips this whole graph. And then 1 over that will look like so. So this is what we would venture out to say the negative cosine squared would look like. Now, however, this is just negative sine and negative cosine. Squaring this would this square the x value? That wouldn't flip it all up because we still have a negative. So let's look at our options and then we'll graph it. Might actually change it a little bit different. Okay, So let's pull up a graph. Squared. We are looking at negative 1 divided by sine of x squared. Okay, so we're getting the humps, but when you square it, all of them are going to get flipped across. So squared would make it positive. So you would first, when you square it, makes all the negative positive, so it would be up here. But then when you make it negative, it flips it back across the x-axis. So B is the one that we're looking at.